Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are when you might be watching this broadcast. This is Stan Shields broadcasting on the networklasvegas.com network. How about that? I just made up a network for the for our live broadcast. We do something that we call Spotlight, which is to spotlight our speakers that speak at our networking events. Now, networklasvegas.com. You can go there and you can find tons of networking opportunities, including the networking opportunity that we host on the first and third Wednesdays of each month. And at each of those meetings, we have a speaker who will, at least one speaker, sometimes it's more times than not, it's two speakers that will speak about their business at those events. And it's a great way for members to showcase their business and to help people learn a little bit more about it. It's a lot better than just that 30-second introduction or that 60-second introduction that we see in pretty much all the networking events that we go do. And so this gives our speakers at least around an 8 to 10 minute time slot for them to learn, for everyone else to learn more about the person's business. This is a special broadcast that we're doing, and we're highlighting Mark Peko. And we're going to have Mark come on, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about his business, and his business is Battleborn Insurance. So, Mark, welcome.
Welcome, Thor. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate the opportunity to get back on here with you.
All right, awesome. Now, tell us a little bit. So, first of all, give us the short introduction of who you are, Battleborn Insurance and so forth. But give us the short introduction, and then we're gonna just chat more about your business.
Sounds like a deal. Well, again, I'm Mark Peko, Battleborn Insurance LV, the Peko agency. We're in the Las Vegas Valley area, and we are a full-service independent insurance agency. I've got about 18 years of experience in insurance and all different attributes. I've run claims departments, I've run sales groups, I've helped manage agents, and I've been an agent and an owner myself. Prior to that, about 18 years in the financial services industry. So I've been around the block a couple of times. But again, our agency right now is a full service agency, everything from personalized property and casualty to commercial insurance to even health insurance and life insurance.
Okay. So basically, if anybody has an insurance need, you can help them with it. Majority of the time.
Absolutely. We can certainly, we have products that can help you on out. And if we can't help you on out, we'll point you to the right people.
I was going to say, otherwise you can point them to somewhere where they can go to get more information if they have some kind of a specialty insurance, right? I imagine
Absolutely.
You probably don't compete with like Lloyd's of London or something like that, where they have all these specialty insurances.
Yeah, right? We're probably not going to insure Lady Gaga's legs.
Right.
That's going to be Lloyd's of London. But pretty much the things that you would run into as a normal individual, either for your personal life or your business here in Nevada, we can help you on out.
Okay, so let's talk for a little bit about your recent presentation that you did. Just maybe give us a little bit of a highlight of some of what you talked about in that, and then I have some other questions for you also.
Okay. Yeah, the review or presentation I did the other day was a little bit different than I normally do. I normally focus specifically on insurance. This one was more about encouraging people to consider all the influences on their lives and the things that go into helping them create the picture that they have in their mind of what their life should look like. And that includes a lot of things. It's going to include insurance. It's going to include their career. It's going to include their family and friends and things of that nature. But all of those things have influences and will impact the ultimate picture that you paint. And what I was really talking about was two things. Number one, as a consumer, make sure you consider all of those things. Don't look at them as a piecemeal, but they all are supposed to fit together like a puzzle. And if you forget a piece of that puzzle, it's going to look kind of funny, and it's probably not going to be what you hoped it to be. So spend a little time either on your own or with someone that can help you do these things, and put a plan together. And then as far as business owners, And whether it's in the financial services industry, whether it's in insurance, whether it's even your car repair guy, um, make sure that you think about what's in the best interest of that client. So you've got to ask a lot of questions. You've got to dig deep. You've got to listen. God gave us one mouth and two ears. Use them that way. And don't try to fit everybody into the same pigeonhole or into one pigeonhole. Everybody's unique. Find the solution that's appropriate for their unique needs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much what we talked about.
Gotcha. Good. So now going back to the insurance game for a second here, that being in the group with you, I've learned a lot more about insurance than what, maybe more than I wanted to know, and more than the average person would expect, right? Because there's always insurance is a hard game. I say a tough game. It's a tough one to understand unless you're in the business and you're working it all the time. But that's true with just about everything that we do in life, right? Mm-hmm. But so what would you say is one of maybe the biggest misconceptions with insurance? And let's just pick auto for a second here, because that, as I said earlier, I said it's probably the most popular. You said no, it's not the most popular, but maybe the most prevalent, right? Yep. So what would you say is the biggest misconception surrounding auto insurance?
Okay, well, I'm going to kind of circle that, in a moment. I can't do anything quickly, but you're right. Insurance is a little bit confusing. And by design, I think insurance carriers make things a little bit confusing. Mm-hmm. But then on the other hand, when you look at the commercials, they try to commoditize it. Mm-hmm. And those two things together just don't make a whole lot of sense. Mm-hmm. There are differences with insurance, but going back to your specific question, I think probably the one question that comes on up and that I have to address probably more often than not when it comes to auto insurance is the concept of full coverage. A lot of people, I'll ask them, at the beginning of the conversation, let's just kind of start from there. What do you have? Do you know what you have? Oh yeah, full coverage. Well, if you go in the dictionary, there's no definition of full coverage for insurance. Mm-hmm. It's more or less what you assume it to be. And most people assume it's going to be the things like liability coverage, comp and collision, the things that protect your car and things of that nature. But if I was really going to give you a definition of full coverage, it would be the things that are required by the state. And that's really what you have to have, and that's liability. So you just got to be careful the way you phrase that and what people tell you about that. For me, what I find most people expect in full coverage is they want a policy that in their minds will protect them. They have an accident, they cause an accident, they hit a tree or whatever, that they walk away completely unscathed and the insurance will cover it. And that's probably not going to happen with any coverage. But if you do it the right way, you can go ahead and make sure that any impact on you is very, very, very minimal. So I don't know if you want me to go into a little more detail on that. I can.
No, that's good. That's good, because I have another one. So we're going to we're going to cover a couple of things here. And this is one that literally, as I got coverage with you, that I experienced this. And that is this concept that if you have a roommate, you're not married, or you're, you just have a roommate, that they take that into consideration with your insurance rates, right? I mean, how does that whole thing work?
Yeah, absolutely. What insurance for the auto insurance, the insurance carriers are really looking to mitigate their risk. What's the chance that something's going to happen? Now, when we write the policy, like when I wrote for you, Stan, the insurance company knows who Stan is. They do there's a lot of things that go on in the background. There's a thing called the insurance score that will pop on out. We can look at your driving record and things of that nature. And based on all that information together, and come up with a premium and say, okay, well, this is how much we think we need to charge Stan in order to give him the coverage that he wanted. Now, anybody else that lives in your house, whether it's your roommate, whether it's your wife, whether it's your children, family member or whatever, they also have to if they've got a driver's license or are of driving age, they need to be taken into account in that policy. And the thought is, Stan hangs up his keys in the kitchen, and somebody that's in the house can just grab those keys, jump in his car, and go. I don't know who that person is, and the insurance company hasn't rated that person as a risk. So we either need to account for them and put them on your policy if they're going to be, if you want to allow them to drive your vehicle, or we need to account for them and exclude them, which basically means we know Stan has so-and-so in his household. They're not authorized to drive his car. So if they do drive the car and get in an accident, we no longer have to cover it.
Wow.
They've been excluded. They've been told that they cannot drive that vehicle. Now that's a little different from there's an opportunity, like if I wanted to borrow your car, Stan, for like one day, I know you got a pickup truck. If I was moving and I said, hey, Stan, can I borrow your car for an hour or two? You can loan it to me that way. But I don't have access to it every day. And that's the key.
So, okay, so that's interesting. So then if that roommate wanted to borrow it for an hour or so, they would not be covered if they're in an accident. But if I loan it to a friend, then they are covered.
Yeah, you're looking at the household, who resides in the household. That's one group of people. And then the people that all reside outside. And it's called permissive use. Now, I can't borrow your car every day for 6 months.
Right.
That's not the purpose of permissive use.
Right. Wow. Very interesting. That was an interesting piece to the whole insurance game. Now, let's talk about one other thing from a business standpoint, business insurance, because you can help people with business insurance, maybe things like key man insurance or something like that as well, right? Just talk very briefly about that.
Okay. Well, business, if you own a business, you need insurance to protect that business. And it depends on the type of business. If you are a brick and mortar, you're going to have one set of coverages that you need. If you have staff, you need workers' comp in the state of Nevada. Keyman, I'll go to Keyman Insurance since you brought that on up. That's actually not a commercial policy. That's a life insurance policy. So let's say Stan is a doctor and he's in business with me, and I'm a doctor as well. And we have a clinic together. Well, our families may not be doctors. Our families may have no interest in our clinic other than the money that we make. But so the success of the clinic is based on Stan and myself. Now I can go ahead and get an insurance policy on Stan, and Stan can get an insurance policy on me, a life insurance policy. So heaven forbid, if Stan had passed away, his portion of that business would probably go to his wife or his family, but they may not have an interest in the business. That life policy gives me the money then to buy out Stan's family and continue with the clinic. You can do it also, like restaurants may do it. If your restaurant's reputation is based on your chef, you have an interest in that chef's well-being. Heaven forbid that chef passed away, it could have an impact on your business. So I can get a life insurance policy on that chef. And then if he does pass away or she does pass away, I can then use that money to help source another chef of similar skills.
Wow. Okay, very good. All right. So that gives people a little bit more of an insight of the kind of work that you can do with them and how you can help people. So it's the personal insurances, it's business insurance. So whatever your insurance needs are, make sure you reach out to Mark Peko, and we're going to put his information right across the bottom of the screen right here. If I can make it go. There it goes. Mark Peko's information right across the bottom of the screen, and you can then reach out to him. And so is it best to call you, email you? What's the best way for people to get in touch?
Either way, I'm pretty much here in the office most of the time. So the phone call at 702-852-2241 will typically get you to me. I'm also in front of my computer all day long. So if you email me at mark@battleborninsurancelv.com, I'll get back to you. I usually get back to people easily within an hour.
Wow, that's pretty fast. Easily within an hour. All right. So if you have insurance needs, reach out to Mark Peko. He's a great guy. He's honest, and he really gives you all the information to help you make a good decision with those insurance needs. So, even if you're not sure whether you need to do something different and you just want information, Mark's really good at just helping you kind of work through some of it.
If I may say one more thing, and then I'll let
Absolutely.
you close on up. If you're the typical person here in Southern Nevada, and you have a home and 2 cars, you're going to spend about $15,000 to $20,000 over the next 10 years on insurance. I strongly advise that you spend a little time making sure that money is being well spent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That you're spending that money wisely, since
Absolutely.
you're gonna spend it anyway, but try and spend it wisely, right?
Absolutely.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate it, and looking forward to our next networking meeting. And so we meet on the first and third Wednesday of each month, and so our next one will be next Wednesday, right? Which will be September 1st. Wow, look at that. The year has gone by so fast. It's crazy. Just, oh my gosh. So September 1st, that's when our next meeting is. But first and third Wednesdays, go to networklasvegas.com. You will see that up on the top banner of our screen for this whole meeting. It's up there. Join us at networklasvegas.com. We'd love to have you come check out a meeting and see if it's a good fit for you. If so, that's awesome. We'd love to have you there. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you the next time.
All right.